Hello. Hey. Hi, my name is Hasit. I'm from Coderabbit. My teammates are here too. You can say hi to them later. Here to talk about AI-powered code reviews. That's our bread and butter. So Coderabbit was founded in 2023. Does anyone here know about Coderabbit? Few hands? Few hands? Nice. Love to hear this. So yeah, we recently raised Series A. We've hit some good milestones recently, 1,500 paying organizations so far, many more OSS users and free users, some good amount of GitHub repo installs as well, and lots of PRs reviewed so far. We are the number one, I would say, at least on the top of the AI apps in GitHub Marketplace. And we have a wide range of companies using us. So the problem that we are trying to solve is recurring. I'm sure most of you have faced it in your normal day-to-day work life, right? So a lot of companies suffer through downtime because of bugs, and it costs them. It's a time cost and a money cost. So for larger enterprises, it takes much more. So developers have self-reported in another article, which I forgot to cite over here. It takes about 4 to 13 hours of time to resolve certain, to go through a pull request and eventually get it merged. It sucks up a lot of time. While we can argue that it is something that is necessary, it does suck up a lot of the development time. I'm sure everyone here is familiar with the normal flow. When you start coding, you then push it up. There's some tests you can run. There's a manual code review. This is how it traditionally happens. And eventually you ship the your software. The problems with this is in your automated pipelines, the scope is limited. It's hard to extend the static analyzers. They're usually for very specific purposes. And on the other hand, there's the manual code review problem. So that takes up a lot of time. There's a lot of context switching involved. You'll have to stop what you're doing, go into the mindset of who made the code change. And of course, that's the human oversight that we want to eliminate, which we want to eliminate over time. So Coderabbit helps with all of these areas. And Coderabbit, the first thing is it helps you address errors quickly. It runs certain linters in the back on top of the review and shows you errors and even gives you fixes for them. It has a built-in chat, so you can chat with the Coderabbit bot just like you would with a fellow human reviewer. It is highly configurable, so you can configure at the repo level, you can configure at the organization level, and there's a lot of engineering that's gone behind it to make the reviews a lot more meaningful. I don't have a live demo, but I have repos out there that use Coderabbit, and these are all open source repos. I can walk you through some of them, see what a code review looks like from Coderabbit, and maybe you can get a good idea about all the features that I just told you about. All right, let's go to the first one. So when Coderabbit starts doing a review, it starts with a simple summary of what changed. This is what it looks like. It's a simple bullet points of changes. It leaves the first comment it leaves is a walkthrough comment. This is more of a technical walkthrough of what changed and what changed in those files. We also have the ability to show you objectives out of linked issues. So here the author actually linked a GitHub issue and it's 1163. So Coderabbit was able to develop objectives out of it, show you which objectives were met out of these issues. So these are just peripheral features that we call code project management features. We can even show you possibly related issues to your PR. And a cute little poem which people love to share on X and wherever else they are. So this is okay. Let's go to an actual review, right? This is what a review looks like. Let's look at one of these. So here, Coderabbit found out that hey, there's a log. There's a better way to do it. Check for error first. This is some Go code, and the author was like, okay, create an issue for me. I'll handle it later. So this is when the Coderabbit's agentic flow kicks in. It understands what create an issue means. It goes ahead, creates a script, executes it, and links it back here. it feels natural, very conversational. You can talk to the bot, you can tell it commands, you can even ask it for clarification. So I had another example somewhere here. So uh, Coderabbit left a review on a struct saying that there is a field which is no longer it's not required. It's a redundant field. User said, okay, am I using it directly somewhere? Can you find me the offending code? Coderabbit was able to figure that out, point it out to the user, and they were able to address the issue eventually. This is an example of a slightly more complicated interaction, but Coderabbit is able to answer questions directly that are addressed to it. There's a very interesting feature that we recently added called learnings, which is using a vector database in the backend. And what happens is with over time when you talk to the bot, it remembers things and it applies it the next time it is reviewing the same piece of code or similar piece of code. So at some point, the authors of this project would have told Coderabbit that, hey, if you see more than 4 of the same import statements, suggest a star import. We did exactly that. And the author said, no, we changed that. That's no longer how we do it. So Coderabbit was able to find these old learnings, remove them, and then add a new one going. So future reviews will be slightly better. A feature that I missed is, and which is really liked by people, is we have the ability to generate sequence diagrams for you sometimes. So if Coderabbit detects a change in flow, it can generate a sequence diagram. It has a mind of its own. Don't tell me if it doesn't do it on your PR. So yeah, this is what it looks like, and this is a well-loved feature. So yeah, and going back to the overall configurability of it, all of this is configurable. And yeah, I would love for you all to give it a try. My team is here. Please feel free to talk to any of us afterwards. We are hiring, and you can email us or check out our website. Sign up over there. I'll open it up for questions.
But get up, space.
It's a great thing actually. This is a problem that needs to be solved, and so far I think GitHub, as far as I remember, does editor level code reviews, right? So this is at the merge request where code reviews have traditionally been happening. I won't comment on the quality. I would love for you to try it out.
Just surprised to see that the conversation, not what they plus the comments, what the requests, this comments or an issue, but kind of it was a pretty much discussion. It would be like this. Expect this kind of conversation space like as a comment because it just says like regular dialogue. Just trying to figure out what the section issues takes. But it's
what sort of discussions?
Like if you go back to the part that maybe shows
any of these,
like explain like that. So I guess maybe my comment is I would expect a bit more out of that certain discussions get out there. Just curious whether this is like an expected place for you to book discussions or out of that's the question.
Well, yes, this is, I mean, this a pull request is our interface to the app in a way. So a lot of these commands we allow you to use, like pause, start a full review, just the chat feature. So this happens to be our interface to the product. And there is an app, of course, that is where you can configure, you can work with the learnings on the app, but majority of the time, I would expect developers to be on the pull request rather than outside of it.
So what's
right, that's very interesting. So I'm often on customer calls and I get asked the same question. And so traditionally, at least in the companies that I've worked in, we've had two mandatory reviews, and that's the norm, at least in most teams. People have started using one as a Coderabbit review and one as a human review. So at least it gives you a great first pass. It builds confidence, and then a human reviewer can go and approve it at the end. That's the shift I'm seeing. All right. If no more questions, then okay. Yes. So the interesting parts are in getting the output to be actually meaningful and not just looks good to me. or change this, change that. So it's about categorizing how we ask the LLM to categorize the output and eventually parse it in a form that is meaningful to the humans. So there were challenges there. We'll talk about it in depth later. Yes. Sure.
I don't know. I meant like the cloud that you use. It seems like it's very it's more that to do this kind of work. Like so, here's I mean, the create some like that or what do you compete those? Imagine like cloud. Like faster.
I did not get your question. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It's related to the cloud 3.5 computer use. Recently, they released that. I don't know how many people play with that. It seems like a really good use case for that to do this kind of work.
What did you say about what is 3.5?
Cloud 3.5. Something.
Oh, cloud 3.5. Yes, of course.
Computer use.
Of course, yes. We actually use multiple LLM providers, and we use different models for different tasks. So we also, yes, we are a customer. We also use Anthropic and OpenAI both.
Yeah, I'm curious about how do you compete with them? Imagine if they have some product like a desktop app or something. I think it's pretty good. It might be really slow right now. Imagine it's like a 3x faster.
Right.
Not even 10x, maybe 3x faster. It can be, maybe useful.
Well, yes, it is useful, yes, because we use that model, but we don't compete with the LLM providers. We compete in a whole different space. What we are doing is code reviews. So we are using these models to do code reviews. In a way, if you just paste your code into an LLM, you would not get such a well-structured output.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Oh, that's good.
Hi, how do you verify your suggestions are correct?
We have extensive evals. At least that's what we do whenever we make prompt changes, whenever we use a new model, and we have ways of testing it with certain inputs and looking for expected outputs. Now, out in the wild, yes, some suggestions might be wrong. It might not be exactly accurate based on your code base. And that is why there is a chat feature. That is why there are learning features. That is why there are instructions. You can also provide custom instructions. So you can cater the bot to be a team member eventually over time. So yes, accuracy is something that is, we've gotten there after a lot of work, and I feel like it's much better now. And also thanks to new models, O1 is doing phenomenally in this space. Yeah.
I have a two-part question. First question is it the review going to happen for across multiple repositories, or is it like on one repository when a pull request, the LLM is only going to look at that? And two, if I am a company, I'm worried that my code might get lost if I call a third-party API like yours. So how secure, or what are your thoughts about security?
So to answer your first question, we work at the repo level. So a PR is on a repo. So that is where we work. But you can give it knowledge of other things, and that is in the configuration. So that is possible. And to answer your second question about security concerns, we work with LLM providers. We have zero data retention policy contracts with them. They do not log anything from us, and typically larger enterprises end up installing on-prem. So we give them Coderabbit to install on their infrastructure. So they make calls to their own LLM providers in that case.
Hey, I'm just curious. So since you have customers, like, have they expressed what types of reviews have been reviewed more or less like successfully? Like as a developer, I feel like there are different kinds of reviews, like the different like lengths. Some might be like a config change. Something could be like a feature. Like have the customers expressed like what Coderabbit AI is like better at or anything like that?
I mean, yes, we are language agnostic in a way. Now we've seen a lot of we've seen success across most modern languages. All of our customers, the complaints are more along the lines of sometimes the verbosity, sometimes the accuracy. but it works well across all languages and all kinds of frameworks. We have internal evals also, and we can talk about that later. So I'd love to talk to you about that.
For the reviews, what's the context? Is it at a PR level or the entire repo level?
It's
like-
the entire repo.
Entire repo. Okay, so and it can handle a large size repo because how do you manage the context?
Yes, so not everything is sent to the LLMs. Of course, we have to figure out what is the most apt thing to send at any point of time. And the agentic flow example that I showed you, when a PR occurs, we actually clone the repo. And that is what we use for a lot of context. So we query certain parts of the code to get more context and send it out.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Just to follow up to that, do you use a vector database for that, or
Yes.
what's your?
So for the learnings and the indexing of issues, as I showed you, those features, they do use a vector database.
But also for the like a repo level storage that you retrieve from, right?
Well, that is yes, it's parts of it. Some of the instructions are saved there, and it's a RAG pipeline in the end of it.
Awesome. Thank you. I have a follow up for that. Which vector database do you use?
Pinecone. Yeah, we're exploring other options as well.
Do you just use like a base language model or using like fine-tuned models to do this?
We use base language model. Thank you
Other
so much.
questions? No other questions? Okay, cool. Thank you, Hasit.